So I'll admit, one of the best parts about going backpacking is the gear. It's a lot of fun. It's fun to research. It's fun to, test things out, figure out what works best for you and your system and what doesn't work, and to kind of evolve and adapt and figure out a better way to be more comfortable and enjoy your time out in the woods. And one of the coolest pieces of gear is a good knife. And one of the reasons why is because it's such a personal thing. It becomes your partner and companion throughout your trip. And there are a million different types. So you basically have endless possibilities to find the one knife that works perfect for you, for your situation. So I want to talk specifically about knives for backpacking, since that's the main activity that I do. And there are knives that are best suited for survival knives, right?
This is the Survivor, the ultimate knife with all the accessories to help you survive on your own.
They're knives for bushcraft and different woodworking.
Whenever I travel in wilderness, I always have my knife to hand, because with this tool, I can make life possible.
They're military and combat knives. And they all serve a different purpose. But for me, when it comes to the tasks I'm going to be doing backpacking, that's very specific as well. So let's talk for a second about the different knives that I've used, why I like them, why I might have changed and evolved my system when it comes to the knives that I carry. And I'll give you an idea of what I think is the very best knife for backpacking. Okay, the first knife I want to show you is kind of my go-to. It's this guy. This is the ESEE 3. It's made by a company called ESEE. I actually replaced the handle on it with some custom ones from a company called The Knife Connection. They're made of G10. The steel, or the sheath, is just a basic plastic sheath. Some holes riveted in there. I put some paracord on there and a little cord lock to attach it. But I rarely attach this to my belt, to be honest. I usually just throw it in my pocket. This is my most used knife. It's pretty small. It's only about a 3.5 inch blade. It's made from 1095 steel, which is a really good quality steel. Stays sharp for a long time. Rarely had to touch this thing up, and it does great. It's good for carving. It does split wood if it's a smaller diameter pretty well, and I really like this knife. It's not the lightest knife, it's not super heavy, but I really don't bring this when I go backpacking anymore, to be honest. I don't feel like I need even this knife, and I'll show you what I bring in a second, but let's talk about the next one. So this knife was given to me by a friend named J.Oeser. He actually is a knife maker. This is the third knife he ever made, but he's made hundreds and thousands of them now. He's made tons. He makes slip joints and fixed blade knives. All of his knives are kind of the same theme. His slip joints are all the old school knives that your grandpa used to carry, and all of his fixed blade knives are kind of bushcraft style, comfortable wood carving knives. He made this sheath as well. It's kind of my favorite part about this knife. The sheath is pretty cool. The knife itself is about 4 inches long. The blade's made of 01 tool steel. The handles are canvas micarta with a black G10 liner in there. Very, very comfortable handle. That's one thing that he's known for doing, and that he prides himself on, is making handles that are very comfortable. This knife is great for carving and building fires with. You can split wood as well by batoning, hitting the back of the blade. As beautiful as this knife is, he's gotten even better with the knives that he's made. So he's very, very talented knife maker. But I don't carry this one anymore either when I go out. Sometimes I do, but I rarely carry it backpacking. I'm always afraid the leather sheath's going to get wet if it rains. It's not as comfortable to carry on the hip when trying to wear a backpack with the hip belt on, so this just stays in my bag. And like I said, because I don't build fires very often, this knife, it just ends up staying in my bag. So I'm carrying the weight of this knife, which probably weighs close to a pound with the sheath. And that's a pound I'm carrying for no reason, because I don't touch it or use it. But that's another one that I like, made by J.Oeser. And this is one that I recently got because I wanted to be able to have a larger knife if I wanted to build bigger fires with bigger wood. This is also made by ESEE, and I also customized the handle from some handles from the Knife Connection. This is the ESEE 6, same kind of plastic sheath that I put the paracord on there in case I want to carry it. But like I said, this is one I would just throw in my bag and take out when I needed it. This knife is pretty good size. It's about a 6.5-inch blade. Great for splitting larger pieces of wood. It's also very comfortable, works good for carving, but this thing is big. It's kind of obnoxious. This is more of a survival knife, and it's heavy. I'm not going to take this backpacking. In fact, as you can see, it's brand new. I haven't even used this thing yet because I bought it when I go car camping or when I want to build bigger fires, and I just haven't found myself wanting to use that. One thing that you do want to carry with this, it's kind of a system, is this hand folding saw. This is made by Bahco. This saw is amazing. You can see I've used this a ton. Sometimes I'll just carry this. It's not that heavy. It's actually lighter than these knives, and it folds up pretty compact. It's easy to throw in your pack. This is great if there's like a small tree, it's blown down in front of the trail. You can kind of help the other hikers doing some trail maintenance. This is a great little saw. It's not very expensive. You can get these on Amazon. Kershaw makes the exact same one. I don't know if they kind of partner with the design. But it's a great saw. You can cut dead standing trees down with this into segments, and then baton with the ESEE 6. So these two tools together work well for building big fires. But you know, the fires I usually build when I go out, you know, it's scouts that are building fires for me, or my teenage nephew when I go out with him. He's building the fires, and so he uses the tools that he has and knives that he carries, and so I end up carrying this stuff for no reason. It's just weight that I don't need. So let me show you what I carry now. This knife is made by Cold Steel. It's called the Finn Wolf. It is just a small, very light, I think it's like 4 ounces, folding knife. It has a very traditional Scandinavian kind of shape. The grind is actually a Scandinavian grind, which means it's one angled change all the way down to the end. Also very comfortable. Blade goes all the way to your hand, so it gets good leverage for carving, similar to the J.Oeser knife. It has a good strong lock, great pocket clip, holds in your pocket really well. It's light, it's unobtrusive, you don't even notice it's there. But you know, for carving sticks, making feather sticks, this knife works great. But even this knife can be overkill. I'll take this out because I like it. This is kind of fits my personality. This is kind of the partner companion that I was talking about earlier. But even this knife can be overkill. Here's what you need, okay? You just need a little knife like this. This was made by Blue Ridge. They partnered with ESEE, same company that made this knife and this knife. But it's made by Blue Ridge Knives. This knife was like 25 bucks. So it's a really good quality knife. It's good and sharp. It's super light. It weighs like 2.5 ounces. It's got a frame lock. It's a great little knife. And this knife it's still even big enough if you want to carve wood with it, but it fits great in your pocket. You barely notice it's there because it's super thin. And this will open your package of candy or cut up an apple or whatever. And I've carried this knife a lot. I even carried this knife on an everyday basis. It's a great knife. This is all you need. In my opinion, for backpacking, you just need a small little sharp pocket knife. And that's it. And there you go. Pretty ladies all in a row. Having looked at all of those, the best knife, in my opinion, for backpacking is one that is sharp, stays sharp for as long as possible, is small, is lightweight, and is easy to carry, and is not expensive. And that's the best knife for backpacking. You don't need a big giant Rambo knife for survival. And so for the task that I'll be doing backpacking, which is basically cutting some string or opening up a package of salami, maybe cutting up an apple, a small little pocket knife, like a little Swiss Army knife, will work just fine. Having a little scissors maybe on a Swiss Army knife, a really tiny one, to cut moleskin would be nice, or some gauze pads for first aid. But I've really found over the several years I've gone backpacking that you don't need a big survival or bushcraft knife. People say, what if there's some kind of emergency? What if you're in a survival situation? Okay, here's the thing. If you're this guy who and wants to go out into the woods with nothing but a survival knife and try to survive and build shelter and hunt food, then yeah, you're gonna need a different kind of knife. And I would bring the best, most robust, fixed blade, something I could find. But when I go backpacking, all my survival gear, my shelter, my food, my cooking, all that stuff comes with me on my back. So I don't need a giant knife to provide for myself because I have everything that I need. If there's an emergency, a lot of emergencies can be avoided by planning ahead, by knowing where you're going, by being safe, being careful. You don't need some giant thing to fight bears and build shelters. If you want to avoid bears, don't put your food in your camp. It's that simple. You don't need a big knife. You just need something small and cut up in a package of orange slices candies, right? Okay, that's it. Bye.